Support comes from St. Louis Public Library Foundation, helping the library serve children and their families with programs and services needed to become lifelong readers. More information about the foundation is at slpl.org.
From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Thursday, September 11th. I'm Abby Larico. Property owners in many North St. Louis neighborhoods are demolishing their tornado-damaged homes and deciding whether to stay or leave the community.
To keep people here and keep that hope going, they've got to have something to believe in.
The impact on the region's demographics and population coming up after this news on The Gateway. The Missouri Senate's special session on redistricting and the initiative petition process got off to a rocky start yesterday. The Senate is expected to debate a redrawn congressional map that seeks to oust Democratic Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, as well as a measure that could make it much harder to approve some constitutional amendments. But Republicans needed to cut off debate in order to approve the rules. Republican Senator Brad Hudson of Stone County says that Republicans expect a Democratic filibuster to a point.
There's another side to that coin. You know, the rules allow for filibustering, but when you get to where you're filibustering for hours on end, there should be an opportunity to stop the filibuster as well and do the people's work.
But Democrats object to the rule change that made it easier for Republicans to move these bills through the process. Democratic Senator Carla May of St. Louis calls it an affront to Senate tradition.
You're cheating to cheat, and it's interesting to me.
Also Wednesday morning, thousands of people packed the Missouri Capitol to protest the special session's efforts. Claudia Ward came from St. Charles with her two daughters.
I hope that they hear that mothers are out here loading up their kids, spending our days sacrificing nap times to have our voices heard, and I hope that they listen to us and they understand that the future generations are out here fighting for their right to.
This special session is expected to last through the end of the week. The local machinists union has reached a tentative 5-year agreement with Boeing St. Louis after striking for more than a month. The union will vote on the new offer Friday morning at St. Louis Music Park. Boeing St. Louis Vice President of Air Dominance Dan Gillian says he hopes 100% of union members show up to vote.
I really encourage everybody to come out and vote on Friday. In the last offer, almost 30% of the union didn't vote.
The new offer raises the average general wage increase from 40% to 45% and restores a signing bonus. Union members on the picket line yesterday declined to comment on the agreement, but one said she had only heard about it 30 minutes prior. As data center proposals pop up throughout the region, a St. Louis city official is pitching a temporary ban on the developments. STLPR's Kayvon Mansouri reports.
In a memo to the Planning Commission, St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency Director Don Rowe tells Commission members the city needs to act quickly to address rules on how and where developers can build data centers in the city. Rowe suggests two paths: a temporary ban on any data center development within the city or rapid amendments to the city's zoning codes, which are currently undergoing a major overhaul for the first time since the 1950s. He says a temporary ban may be in the public's interest. St. Charles enacted a 1-year ban last month following public outcry over a data center proposal. There are currently 12 data centers throughout the city, and a new proposal on a Green Street-owned property near the vacant Armory building is working its way through the city's development wing. I'm Kayvon Mansouri, St. Louis Public Radio.
St. Louis city leaders are looking for volunteers in tornado-impacted neighborhoods to help define what progress looks like for their areas. Those areas include 11 neighborhoods across the northern part of the city. City leaders say 5 teams will use workshops and pop-up events to develop plans, eventually adopted by the city's Planning Commission. Planning will continue into late 2026, but officials say early work will be used to create plans for immediate investments. The Plan STL neighborhood planning program is spearheading the efforts. Residents have until October 13th to apply. You can find more information on this at stlpr.org. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer has resumed the city's minority and women-owned business contracting program after a month-long pause. The program issues construction contracts to minority-owned and women-led companies. Spencer put it on hold because of federal pressure to end DEI programming nationwide. During the pause, a consulting firm reviewed the program and the city's 2024 disparity study. Spencer says the program is fair and can withstand legal scrutiny.
We are going to be putting in the policies in place that reflect the most recent disparity study, and that is what is creating that strong legal footing for us to be able to move forward with this.
The St. Louis Development Corporation will work to issue hiring rules on how to calculate specific project goals. Clayton, Valley Park, Gasconade, Plato R5, and 5 other Missouri school districts are asking to move away from the state's standardized testing system. At this week's State Board of Education meeting, the group requested to join 37 other school districts that received waivers from the state's student assessment program in favor of a more frequent alternative they say provides more useful data about student performance throughout the year. Board member Kenneth Miller Jr. says he wants more data on how well the program is working before deciding to expand it.
It appears to a lot of people that all we're doing with this program is trying to lower our standards for what we require of students and let everybody develop their own.
The board will consider the proposal at next month's meeting. Almost 4 months after a tornado ripped through North St. Louis, demolition crews are bringing down what's left of many damaged homes. As the Midwest Newsroom's Holly Edgell reports, that could lead to a big blow to the city's population.
Just a few days after the tornado destroyed most of her home in Fountain Park, Margaret Williams predicted,
"I think the house is going to come down."
On July 17th, what was left of her house on Walton Avenue did come down. Williams and her family watched an excavator nudge their 1906 dwelling once, twice, 3 times. Later, on a phone call, Williams says she was emotional.
Memories lost, the sadness that I felt so much and so often since May 16th.
Between May 31st and August 31st, city data shows that the number of applications for private demolitions in St. Louis more than doubled compared to the same period last year. To real estate broker Gail Brown, that could mean more families leaving the city.
People who have held on to this property for so long, but I just see that slipping away.
On a hot day in mid-August, the sound of a cherry picker's engine fills Aubert Avenue, also in Fountain Park. A 6-family apartment building is coming down, leaving more empty lots.
A lot more houses are going to be demolished, so you're going to have a lot of vacant ground, more vacant ground.
Ness Sandoval is a St. Louis University demographer.
You have to provide hope. If we're here 1 year from now and we're still talking about getting debris cleaned up, then you're going to see these aftershocks emerge.
The aftershocks, Sandoval says, could include thousands of families opting to leave the city, which is already shrinking faster than any other major U.S. city.
And the city is naive to believe that these families are going to come back.
The St. Louis Community Development Administration oversees the city's spending on housing and development. Executive Director Noel Pfeffer says the administration redirected millions of dollars already in the pipeline toward helping residents secure and repair their homes.
We knew that this geography had a housing crisis before the tornado that has been exacerbated by the tornado. And so we had a lot of contracts already in place with a lot of the organizations that have been on the front lines of response.
The state of Missouri allocated $100 million to the recovery. The city's Board of Aldermen earmarked $30 million of the Rams settlement money toward the efforts.
Our goal is to keep people in their neighborhoods and try to help them restore and rebuild.
That's the city's Chief of Recovery, Julian Nix, at an August town hall meeting sponsored by 9PBS. At a Board of Aldermen meeting a few weeks later, Nix said a restoration period would last until 2027, followed by a period of planning for the region's housing and for its business corridor through 2035. Sandoval says the city has about 1 year to show progress.
People want to rebuild, and so you have to capitalize on that collective efficacy. It's not forever. It doesn't last forever.
The state of Missouri estimates about 67% of the homeowners impacted by the storm did not have homeowners insurance, the Williamses among them. The couple can't afford to rebuild their home, but they have found a place to live in another city neighborhood.
We had to look to St. Louis County as a possible choice, but we wanted to stay in the city. And we were just blessed to actually be able to do that.
Margaret Williams hopes others will be able to do the same. I'm Holly Edgell, the Midwest Newsroom.
The Midwest Newsroom, a collaboration including NPR and public radio stations in Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri, is a member of the Trust Project. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Abby Larico, and from the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this has been The Gateway.